Why should you understand what is actually happening in the economy right now? Now, I know you're feeling inflation, 19% cumulative inflation since 2020. If you made $100,000 in 2020, you have to make $122,000 a year to live the same lifestyle. I'm going to take you a little bit further back to 1929. I think everybody should read the book, The Fourth Turning. There are cycles and patterns that happen in humanity over and over and over again. And if you can pull yourself to a 30,000-foot overview and actually see the cycle, you can not only free your family financially, spiritually, but mentally. Everything is a wave of energy, and we're experiencing a very familiar wave of energy. And some of the wealthiest people in the world are going to be made from 2008 to 2030. The middle class is getting wiped out, leveraged towards technology, moving down to the working poor. After 2030, there will be no middle class. They'll be very, very wealthy and very, very poor. But you get to make a decision within this timeline of what side of the coin you want to be on. So I'll give you some tactical things that I actually did. Let's talk strategic, and then we'll go into tactical, okay? So the first thing we need to look at is 1929, the Great Depression, okay? Hear ye, the markets collapse. One of the biggest collapses in history. People were in food lines, right? They didn't have the internet. They didn't have the technology we have. They just had to believe what the media was feeding them. The banks are collapsing. Okay, during this time in 1913, the Federal Reserve was created, and I think there was about 11,000 banks underneath the Federal Reserve. Most banks were underneath the Federal Reserve, and they gave a bunch of loans to the banks to bail out the smaller banks. Sounds a little bit familiar to the bank bail-in committee of our time in 2024, okay? Then we're cruising along in the Great Depression, and then we had a common enemy, Pearl Harbor, okay? So we all come together as Americans, and we go into World War II. Now, during World War II, people are always looking for opportunity, right? World War II, after World War II, America became the dominant currency, number one, Bretton Woods Standard. There was governmental structures like the IMF, the World Bank, and people could see that coming. And so people invested in the future after World War II and became some of the richest people that we experience today. Then we went into the 50s, right? The American dream, the middle class, which, pay attention, the middle class lasted for a very short amount of time. The middle class was booming. Our grandparents and our parents were in a low interest rate environment with the printing of money after 1971. It was an easy economy. We caught the ball. So our 2008, this is really important, if you look at the fourth turning, was their 2009. We had one of the biggest financial collapses in our history, our living history, and at the same time, 2009, Bitcoin was created. Interesting. So after the financial collapse, Bitcoin's created, a new type of monetary system. Satoshi Nakamoto, we don't know who it is. So then we cruise along, as I told you guys, we hit 2012. Okay, the Mayan calendar ended. All of us thought the world was going to end, just like 2000 Y2K, if you remember that. In 2012, the Mayan calendar ended, but I believe it was the death of the old and the birth of a new system. Okay, there was a lot of things that happened during this. Rosie Rios was told to reduce coin and cash usage, but she couldn't because Obama turned the rescue plan on, which is the printing machine. Okay, so 2008 to 2030 is our crisis stage. You're going into what's called a full transition. The people who are going to be the richest people in the world going forward are those who can see where we're going to be in the full transition. This is where we are going to be. Okay? DLT, Distributed Ledger Technology. On-demand liquidity. Money is going to move at the speed of light. We're moving into Web 3. Okay? We're moving from Web 2.0 to Web 3.0. Web 3.0 is connectivity. We're moving from input, where you input stuff into a computer, to actually embodying and living and communicating with the actual technology. We're moving from, this is really important, industrial to technical. Now the technical is going to be the thing that wipes out the middle class. Okay? So you have to really start paying attention to your career, to what responses your company is making. Are they innovating into technology? Can your job be replaced by AI? And as AI comes in, technology comes in, Web 3.0 comes in, you have to ask yourself, what will drive that? Crypto, AI, and tech are all going to be the new infrastructure, okay? So you have to pay attention to what's actually happening. Lift yourself to a 30,000 foot overview. If we go into a World War III, just like here, World War III, before the transition to 2030, look what happened. After World War II, there was a huge boom in America. So you need to pay attention to these things that are happening. Pull yourself up to a 30,000 foot overview and understand this is just a cycle that happens over and over and over again. The warning that I have for you is if you are middle class right now, you need to start paying attention. There's two ways you can make money. Reduce your expenses or earn more income. And then when you earn more income, you want to learn how to take sovereignty of your wealth and learn how to invest in these markets. So tactical. Number one is actually understand what is happening. Study this stuff every single day. I have tons of free content here. Number two is work on your debts and non-negotiables. Get disciplined with your finances. Number three is when you create that cash flow, learn how to take sovereignty and invest into the capital markets. Number four, study the wave of energy. Remember, Wall Street wins 100% of the time. Every market goes up and it goes down. So if you learn how to exit these markets, then you can do number five, secure, compound, and grow your money with tier one capital. And we'll talk about that in a future video and exactly what I did from 2020 to 2024 to free my family financially. So I just wanted to prepare you that we're heading into what's called our crisis stage. And after 2030, you're gonna be in a full transition. This video is gonna age very, very well. And if you don't pay attention, the middle class is gonna get wiped out. There's going to be very, very poor, and there's going to be very, very rich. And there's never been an opportunity in our society, in our living history, where we could actually invest in the new infrastructure of Web 3.0, on-demand liquidity, distributed ledger technology, and the transition from industrial to technical. So this isn't about getting rich in crypto. It's about understanding what is actually happening and getting your family ready for the biggest transition in history. Warriors, rise, get your shit together. Let's go.